Good evening. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Carpinteria Unified School District for April 23rd, 2024. Can everybody please stand for the flag salute? Ready, begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Closed session report. We had a conference with labor negotiators. Information was exchanged. No action taken. C3, approval of the minutes. Any questions from the board on approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 9th? Seeing none. Public comment on approval of the minutes of April 9th. Please step up to the podium now.
At the last board meeting, when considering new assignments for the 24-25 school year, union leadership shared that there have been a total of 2 new employees hired for the 24-25 school year in the last 4 months. Let the minutes show that the data we referred to is confirmed in the previous 7 personnel reports given to the board between December 2023 and April 9, 2024. There have been 3 employees slotted for layoffs, and they have been reassigned to new positions. That's good news. But they are not new staff for the 24-25 school year. Let the minutes show that up until the last board meeting, CUSD has only recruited 3 new employees: a cafeteria lead, a part-time instructional assistant, and a special education teacher whose contract ends in June. Let the minutes show that in the last 4 months, CUSD has received resignations or retirements of no less than 14 district employees, 6 classified support staff, and 3 full-time teachers, 2 of whom were special education teachers. And then there are 5 senior administrators who have resigned, including the district special education director in the middle of the year, the district HR and payroll coordinator in the middle of the year, Mr. Coda, the vice principal at the middle school, Ms. O'Shea, the principal at the middle school, and Ms. Zapata, the district's human resource director, whose resignation takes force this summer. Let the minutes show that both administrative hires since November 2023 were already district employees who were being resigned or being reassigned to different positions that were not open to any transparent and collaborative hiring, interview, or screening process. Ms. Haynes, our new SPED director, has provided high-quality service as a district teacher and colleague for 2 years, but has no experience in the role of a SPED director in any school district. And Ms. Pursoon has been appointed principal at the middle school for the 24-25 school year without any experience as a principal at the secondary level. Ms. Rigby appointed Ms. Pursoon, ignoring the request by CMS faculty and leadership to participate directly in the hiring process for that position. However, even after being ignored by Ms. Rigby, members of the CMS leadership team are ready to demonstrate their extreme professionalism and eagerness to support Ms. Pursoon. They are committed to seeing that Ms. Pursoon gets off to a good start at the middle school. Thank you.
Any further public comment on approval of the minutes from April 9th? Seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
And roll call? Right?
Nope.
No, that's next one, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
And I abstain. Okay, C4, approval of the agenda and consent agenda. Any questions from the board? Okay, public comment on C4, approval of agenda and consent agenda. Please step up to the podium.
Thank you, and once again, for the last several months, union leadership has reminded the district that it is misusing the administration of the consent agenda to advance public business without transparency. Although the district may eventually include the items it has contained in the consent agenda at a future time, CUSD has a responsibility to first bring each consent agenda item before the board and the public at least once at a regularly scheduled board meeting before the agenda is moved to the consent agenda for mass approval. This evening, the union continues to share its concerns associated with the district's Brown Act violations and the restrictions CUSD places on public discourse. We have seen these violations come at the cost of the very students and families district leadership is sworn to serve. Ignoring this evening's procedural Brown Act violations, there are investments on the consent agenda that union leadership would support otherwise. Items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, and 14. However, there are 3 items, all related to the bringing in of even more student teachers, that clearly require more examination, and that's items 8, 9, and 10. Union leadership is certain that there has not been any in-depth discussion on the impact of this or similar programs on our students at the board or community level. Similar to the last board meeting's consent agenda items, agreements that involved increasing both student teachers and school psychologist interns in our classrooms have been moved through without any discussion or significant examination. This time, the interns are coming from Point Loma Nazarene University of California, a self-proposed Christian liberal arts college. At first glance, this may sound like a good idea. The mentorship that occurs when master teachers work with student teachers can be a powerful and valuable experience. But under Superintendent Rigby, CUSD has crossed some boundaries with these contracts and encouraged interning student teachers and psych interns to provide services well beyond their contracted and legal authority to do so. These practices may not be serving students or their achievement, and the board should really first ensure that CUSD is including these interns in a way that best serves our students and families before approving this contract. Relying on student teachers and interns to provide services at greatly reduced costs while overlooking the lack of either qualifications or credentials may not serve to improve student learning. And given our most recent declines in student achievement data, it seems more prudent that thoughtful analysis take place before continuing practices that may not bear fruit for the families of the district. So the union asked that items 8, 9, and 10 be pulled from this evening's consent agenda, placed on a routine agenda, and that a robust discussion occur. Thank you.
Any further comment on approval of the agenda and consent agenda? Okay. Seeing none, may I get a motion from the board?
I move to approve the agenda and the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Aaron? Aye. Sally?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
I'm aye.
Wonderful. Okay. Moving on. E, we have our student representative report. Take it away.
On Friday, April 19th, over 70 CHS seniors attended Vaquero Day at SBCC. Students were able to meet with their SBCC counselors, enroll in their classes, and ask any questions regarding SBCC. Tickets have gone on sale for CHS Prom on Saturday, May 18, 2024. Prom will be held at the Moxie in Santa Barbara, and the after prom will be held in Bolero right after the prom. Tomorrow, senior parents will be receiving the annual end-of-the-year information packet. The packet will include information on prom, after prom, senior finals, senior activities, and graduation. Please look for the information in your parent square. And finally, please mark your calendar. May 22nd at 5:30 p.m. will be our open house, and at 7 p.m. our annual academic awards will be held in the gym. Invitations will be going out next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions from the board? No? All right, thank you so much. And at this time, we will take public comment on our student representative report. Okay, seeing none. Moving on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you. Tonight, I'd like to begin with appreciation, and I'd like to recognize Coach Latham, Athletic Director Cooney, the CHS student athletes, and all the volunteers for a stormy but highly successful 104th Russell Cup track and field meet that was held last Saturday in really challenging conditions. And then some congratulations for our CHS student, Casey Kramer. She read her winning poem, Enough, at the Carpinteria Arts Center reception on April 14th. So congratulations to Casey. Our second interim financial report analysis and recommendations. The county office confirmed the district's positive certification based on the second interim financial report, as the district is able to meet its financial obligations for the current and 2 subsequent fiscal years while maintaining the required minimum level reserve for economic uncertainties. My next item is about the virtual enterprise course at the high school. 33 CHS VE students traveled to New York last week to participate in the Virtual Enterprise Youth Business Summit. CHS teachers Ms. Shamblin and Mr. Moraes and 13 volunteer parents chaperoned the trip. Thousands of rising young professionals and budding entrepreneurs from over 40 countries, educators, school district administrators, business leaders, and industry professionals gathered together for this one-of-a-kind global convention. During a dynamic week of business competitions, leadership events, and professional networking, rising talent from the middle and high schools around the world display their professional skills and that they have developed by running a virtual enterprise company during the school year. The CUSD VE company, Positive Care, received gold level, which is the top 5 out of 220 schools. And their Positive Care is like a Apple Watch for a dog, for dogs. Pretty clever, huh? Very exciting. And then our 12 CHS junior avid students visited Northern California universities, UC Davis, UC Santa Cruz, Stanford, Cal State San Francisco, and Cal Poly last week. Ms. Pierce and Mr. Santiago were the staff chaperones for that trip. Our next item is regarding our extended learning in summer of 2024. Elementary students will have the opportunity to attend Fun in the Sun as an academic and enrichment summer program offered by United Way that will be held at Aliso School 6 weeks, June 20th to August 2nd, 8 to 5 p.m. Our high school students who have failed math or English will attend 80 hours of summer school June 10th to July 3rd, 8 to 12 daily, and special ed students will participate in extended year classes at Preschool at Maine, Canalino, and the high school from June 10th to July 10th. And our last item is regarding an update on Measure U. The Canalino Learning Center project is ready to begin construction with the installation of temporary fencing, and they've mobilized all the equipment. Project completion is scheduled for November 2024. And then our other project at Aliso, the TK and K classroom building, is now in the design phase with architect Robert Robles, and he's currently working with the Coastal Commission on the permitting process. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions from the board? Okay, public comment on the superintendent's report. Please feel free to step up to the podium now.
Alrighty, thank you, Ms. Rigby, for some of the positive things you shared with the community. Let's see here. In your report, you confirmed that the second interim financial report has been certified by the county, meaning the county has verified that CUSD can meet its financial obligations while maintaining the required minimum level reserves for the future. For the sake of clarity, the state requires that a district not fall below 3% reserve balance so as to remain responsive to any future economic uncertainties. Ms. Rigby, your report did not share that the CUSD doesn't just have the required 3% reserves, but rather, as of March 12, 2024, the district projected far more than 3% in the reserve balance. In fact, 8.48% in 2024-25, 13.88% in 25-26, and 20.9% in 26-27. That's approximately 7 times the tax dollars required by the state to be held in reserves. These large reserve balances are projected even after building in extraordinary legal expenditures the district has and continues to incur for the last 2 years, several $1 million in legal fees paid by community taxpayers. Although we should be glad that the county has verified that CUSD can meet its future obligations, this does not automatically equate to district leadership investing taxpayer dollars towards the betterment of district students and families. That last year, the CUSD's budget projections came within $1 million of the budget actuals. It is not a measure of how well CUSD invested taxpayer money, but it is good accounting. And it is an acknowledgement that in 22-23, the district actually spent the majority of its excess revenues on expensive legal action, which liquidated the routine savings that historically occur when a district like ours overestimates expenditures and underestimates revenues. Once again, the district has told the county and community that it's operating in a budget deficit, which is used to justify why CUSD can't spend unrestricted monies on critical resources and programs for students. Yet, there has been no deficit spending in the general unrestricted fund in any of the past 5 years. And all the while, millions of dollars have been and are continuing to be spent from the same unrestricted fund on a series of legal actions that have resulted in the district and its agents, some of whom have recently tendered their resignations, being found guilty of retaliation, discrimination, and pursuing employee discipline in violation of the law. Union leadership knows there is more to the snippet shared by Ms. Rigby in her report, and we encourage members of the community to demand that their taxpayer dollars be spent on investments that better serve our students and our families. Thank you.
Any further public comment on the superintendent's report? Please step up to the podium. Okay, seeing none. We will now move on to public comment for items not on the agenda, E4. If you have something you'd like to say, it is not covered within the agenda we have before us today. Please feel free to step up to the podium now. Thank you.
Thank you, Rogelio Delgado, Carpinteria resident. And I've been listening to board meetings as a private citizen and as a former school board member since 2016. And this is what I noticed. I was there for 4 years, and I've been here almost another 4 years outside the board. And there's a pattern of hate. Board members, all 5 of you, back then, 2016, 2020, 3 of you. And we have our superintendent, Diana Rigby, all of you, with one goal, to get rid of Jay Hochner. And in America, you are innocent until proven guilty. Well, he's been found innocent not once, not twice, 3 times. Look at the results. Don't laugh, Jamie. This is not a laughing matter, okay? He's been attacked for years. 4 years. And there's no ending on this. It has to end. Why is that? We're tired of millions and millions of dollars being wasted. Because all you've got are bad attorneys. That's the truth. Can't even put up a good, solid case. Now, who are that's taxpayers' money. Who are the taxpayers? Taxpayers, yes, part of them, wealthy people, but we also have unemployed taxpayers, special education families, taxpayers as well. We get the elderly as well as taxpayers. So we cannot take any more of this. Myself, I'm a senior, live on my pension.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Julie Sigwart. I have 2 things tonight. One, I have a request. One thing that happens in the city council meetings is that they allow people to attend the meetings by Zoom. I'm requesting that we make this meeting more accessible to our community and open it up for Zoom comments so that we can get a better participation through the community and allow people who can't be here to be able to join through Zoom. The second thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is that I have a concern over the ongoing test scores going down. I mean, this is a serious issue. You know, you guys have, talked about before. We have, COVID has been an immense challenge, and we're still going to keep going through that. But the one thing about COVID is that if it was just COVID, then our students should have performed equally as bad as the rest of California, but that's not the case. Our students are performing worse than, previously. And what I'd like to know, I'd like to ask that we take a look at what it is that we're doing that might be causing these scores to go down. One thing that we did implement in recent years is the DLI program. While I love it in theory, I think it's a great idea. I don't know how, I don't know how it is playing out. We should have a way to be able to figure out the results of this program, to be able to authenticate whether it's being successful or not. I know that a lot of our problems are in math, and, English or Spanish, they're not learning math. And, we have to do something about that. So my request to you tonight is that we find some way, to put this on the agenda. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the meeting so that we can talk about this or get a firm to do a review of the process and see how we are implementing it and if it's working or not, and where and how we can improve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So just yesterday, union leadership met with district leadership to further negotiate employee contracts. The union presented the remainder of our proposal tied to classified article compensation and benefits, Article 6, which included salary increase proposals, a proposed
Mr. Hotchner, I
district
apologize.
contribution-
Please stop his time for a moment. The time to comment on negotiations was during the 4:30 time when labor negotiations was in the closed session public comment part of the closed session.
Once again, you did not specify what it was you were talking about. You could not have possibly been talking about what our position, the union's position is, sharing with the community. And you are acting again, we've already covered this, you're acting again to limit the transparency of the conversations that go on.
No,
with the
it's
community.
conference with labor negotiators.
With your labor negotiators, not with ours. We were not a part
Correct.
of. We were not a part of.
Because
your-
this is our meeting, sir. And so we had the time for public comment was at 4:30. I know you know that because you've come before
actually-
to make that comment, to make comments, and
Actually
you
made
didn't.
a very clear statement
So,
2 meetings back to clarify
we are
that you
not-
were incorrect on that topic.
We are not, now is not the time, because this was on the agenda. Negotiations was on the agenda.
Okay, again, 2 meetings back, we made it very clear in the approval of the minutes that you were not permitted to restrict our comments to the community on the topic of bargaining because you have chosen to speak with your labor negotiating team. We made that clear. We also have spoken to the topic of bargaining.
Start his time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Restart it, or not restart it, pick it up from
I
where
would
it was.
appreciate
Thank
if you
you.
restarted it so we could have the
Yeah,
the
pick it
full
up
measure.
from where he stopped. Thank you.
I'll need a moment to figure out where we were, okay? So could you
Okay.
please stop
Well,
the time?
your
I'd like to
time
regain
will
my
continue.
time. I hope the public is paying close attention to this. Again, what we were proposing were salary increase proposals, a proposed district contribution to an employee health care savings account. This is designed for those employees who earn well over $10,000 in health care benefits annually, but do not receive any portion of those earnings because they cannot afford the additional costs of purchasing the district's plan. We proposed improving employee access to full-time employment, which was and has been restricted by current hiring practices. And we proposed options for better wage and hiring equity, as well as improvements to bilingual stipends, specialized healthcare stipends, and CPR and first aid stipends. On April 4th, COS submitted its first portion of the compensation and benefits proposal, focused on CUSD's special education program. Our goal is to improve the deteriorating conditions associated with CUSD's SPED program, which are negatively impacting students, employees, and even the district. And by better directing increased resources to our SPED program, we believe that we together can improve staffing, STEM employee transiency, and clarify routine expectations and begin to reverse the current programmatic dysfunction. While presenting these proposals, union leadership took great effort to clarify the variety of interests, rationales, and good faith objectives behind employees' proposed improvements. Just yesterday, CUSD responded to our Article 14 safety proposal, which was submitted on April 4th, and the district responded by rejecting all the proposed student and school site safety improvements suggested by district employees, all of them. That would be contractualizing first aid and CPR for all district employees, standardizing several best safety practices in the district, such as visitor registration practices, practices that promote robust participation on district and school site safety teams, and best practices associated with limiting access points to district school sites during instructional and after-school program hours. On April 4th, the union was proud to have moved the district to update the classified contract, which was 6 years overdue. However, yesterday we had to again remind the district of its obligations to publish the correct contract and updated contract on its website. For now, only the certificated contract, which is still marked 2018-19, needs to be thoroughly updated with the agreements the union and district have reached over the last 5 years. COS leadership looks forward to resolving this issue so that
Thank you. Your time is up.
it seems that
Any
we've
further
accomplished
public
purpose.
comment for items not on the agenda? Okay. Seeing none. We are moving on to F1 warrants. The board is asked to approve the warrants for the period of April 5th, 2024 through April 18th, 2024 in the amount of $1,046,398.64. Warrants are issued once a week on Thursdays. The report format shows check number, check date, payee, brief account description, payment comment, and check amount. Any questions from the board? I have one quick question. So for all the SEMI transportation, so that's just busing from here down there 3 times, is my understanding? It's mind-boggling that transportation costs $20,000. That trip is the trip is $20,000. So did we use we used charter buses, I'm guessing, not ours.
We use our buses
We did.
every time we can.
Okay,
They're not always available, depending on other trips.
okay. Wow. I mean, I'm glad it was
It's an
to
expensive
our own
trip.
people, but that's
So
a
the
lot.
district pays half and the parent groups pay half.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to check in on that. Thank you. Okay, public comment on warrants. Please step up to the podium now. F1 warrants, if you have public comment.
Thank you. Warrants cover, each board meeting, there is a warrant routinely attached to the board agenda. If the public is not aware of that, it could find that attached to the board agenda. And the warrants contain a variety of expenses and operating costs for the district. One area of those operating costs is legal fees. And at the last meeting, I believe that Ms. Fitzgerald was specifically asked where in the budget are legal fees found. And Ms. Fitzgerald stated that in the budget presentation to the community, that legal fees are not that granularly presented in that budget, that she doesn't go into such depth, but that we could, roughly say the district is going to be budgeting the same amount, which is millions of dollars that it budgeted last year, this year. What Ms. Fitzgerald did not clarify upon is where in the budget we can find that millions of dollars of budgeted legal fees for the 23-24 year, for the 24-25 year, for the 25-26 year. And that question is put before you again for the second week in a row. And I think the community, as well as the employees of the district, deserve an answer to that question, given that you have spent now approximately $3.5 million in the last 2 years on this topic, and you are certainly poised to spend more. Do we have an answer to that question, Ms. Fitzgerald? Could you please, given your familiarity with the budget and your expertise, you probably know
We're
exactly
talking
where
about
we could find
warrants,
that.
not budget right now.
Yes, the warrants are the costs. They cover the costs that we're talking about, so it is entirely relevant to the warrant. Mr. Schaefer, I imagine you do know that. Ms. Fitzgerald, do you have an answer to that question that you at least would be willing to share with the community?
It's
Mr.
budgeted
Schaefer or
in-
Ms. Rigby,
I-
do you
I will
have an answer to that
I will
question?
answer for you. It's
Thank you.
budgeted in contracted services.
Under contracted services, and where specifically? Because it was not clear, even looking, we looked there as a matter of fact, and we could not find it under contracted services. So what description or item name are you using for that?
Legal fees under contracted services.
And do you separate them out in any way?
We separate them out by the law firm.
By the law firm? Okay,
Yes.
so under contracted services, and that is in which, is that in a projected budget, are we going to find that? Or are we going to find that in the second interim budget? Which budget specifically will we find that?
You're going to find contracted services in all the budgets that we produce.
But for the ones that were shared at the last meeting? I'm confused, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
You know, we can have this conversation offline. You're going around in
we-
circles. I've answered the
We
question.
could have it online, too, right?
This would be, I believe we're getting too granular
Okay,
for,
my
for
time is
this
up. Thank you.
comment, for this, for warrants. This is a budget discussion, which we're not doing a budget study session right now. Any further comments on warrants?
Rogelio Delgado, Carpinteria resident. Like I said, everything is going back to the same problem, regardless of where it's coming from, but millions and millions of dollars that goes to the hands of the attorneys, not to the hands of teachers or students. No. This has to stop. And like I said, you are being trusted with a blank check from the community to represent everyone, to represent teachers, to represent students, meaning salaries, student programs. You have to benefit the community instead of wasting and wasting all of these millions of dollars that hard-earned money from taxpayers. Believe me, hard-earned money. And the purpose is to see them grow in our schools, improve teacher salaries, get more special ed teachers. Families are going through hard times. Inflation, family problems, financial problems, and here we are, spending millions and millions of dollars. This has to stop. Diana Rigby, are you willing to stop this lawsuit against the state?
I'm sorry, is there a specific
No.
thing with it? Because we're talking about the warrants right now, so I just,
The warrants are connected to.
no, but we're talking
Everything.
about the warrants. So there's no expenditures, there's no millions of dollars of expenditures on the warrants that we're approving right now.
But there's a deficit, because that's what it is, a deficit of all the money that has been spent.
There's no expenditure that, on the warrants that we're approving right now, or is proposed to be approved, there's no expenditure that matches what you're talking about.
Question that I have. Superintendent Rigby, on behalf of special ed families, on behalf of the elderly, because basically, if you lose the lawsuit, will you step down?
Thank you,
Keep it in your mind.
thank you.
Will you step down?
Your time is up.
It will continue.
Thank you. Any further public comment on warrants? Seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Gifts, grants, donations, a donation from Rotary Club to Carpinteria Unified School District music program at CMS. The board is asked to accept the donation from Rotary Club of Carpinteria of a xylophone with cover mallets valued at $3,633 to Carpinteria Unified School District music program at CMS. Any questions from the board? Okay. Public comment For gifts, grants, donations, 2A.
Thank you. So the Rotary Club has been such a reliable partner with this USD, and union leadership and the employees we represent want to thank those community members like the Rotary Club who provide grants and gifts to the district without any unethical and unprofessional strings attached. The Rotary Club's donation is yet another example of their generosity and desire to support the district. This xylophone with cover mallets valued at $3,633 to the middle school is going to be an extraordinary addition to the program at the middle school, and one that union leadership is certain that Mr. Pavia will turn into endless learning opportunities for a number of kids for years to come. So let's keep building the band program, let's keep building the strings program, let's keep building the orchestra program, and let's make sure that we keep providing these kids other opportunities beyond the most routine of core academics. Thank you.
Any further comment on 2A?
Yes, hello again, Julie Sigwart. I'm thrilled to see the donation from the Rotary Club. Mr. Pavia is an excellent teacher, and he was the one who put the trumpet in my son's hands, the first time, and he's still doing it and performing at SBCC and having a great time, and that's been, life-changing for him. So I'm super thrilled to see that and see the promotion of things for our music programs, band, hopefully, did you say, I think Ms. Rigby said choral, was it? Yeah, choral program next year. So thrilled to see that growing. There's one thing about the gifts is that I want to make sure that we are listing all of the gifts that are received, regardless of how small or inconsequential they may be. I know that there's one person who gives $5 donations for this and that, and I know that some of those aren't showing up. But if I just
Who would that be?
Franklin Stout.
Do you know Franklin?
Not directly. I've talked to him one next door, but
Like
what?
verbally spoken to him?
No,
No.
no.
No, it doesn't make a difference at all.
Yeah. But, anyway, I just want to make sure that we follow all of the rules the way we're supposed to follow them. That way, we tell our kids they have to follow the rules. We need to follow the rules. And, in these public meetings, courtesy should be given, both ways. And I'd like to just see us continue to have good civil discourse. I ask that the board give the courtesy to everybody, regardless if you like them or don't like them. I don't like seeing argumentative, I know that there are things going on, but I don't like to see the arguments going on. Yeah, it's not on the agenda, but,
Yeah.
it's just kind of a
We just need to
comment.
keep the comments to the scope of the item.
But I love the band stuff.
Wonderful.
I love the donations. Let's keep it up. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, any further public comment on 2A? Okay, not seeing any. May I get a motion to approve?
I move with gratitude to accept the donation from the Rotary Club of Carpinteria.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
No, just thank you to the Rotary.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. It really bolstered that program at the middle school as well as the high school, but they've really helped Mr. Pavia with his instruments and support. And I know there's a number of Rotary members who have volunteered time to come in and help or just basically demonstrate. And they are a very good member of our community.
Yeah, I just, as somebody who is not musically inclined, despite how much I might want to be, the cost of some of these instruments is amazing to me, and so and eye-opening. And so whenever I see that, $3,600 for a xylophone, and not to minimize what a xylophone is in any way, just the perspective that goes with that is amazing. So, yeah. We called the question. We have motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. G, Measure U, G1, the approval for KBZ Architects, Inc. pool feasibility study at CHS. The board is asked to approve KBZ Architects, Inc. to conduct a Carpinteria High School pool study. The study will include site play layouts. Is that supposed to say plan? I thought so, yeah. Site plan layouts, replacement of existing structures, DSA requirements, pool size and types. The study will include site visits, team reviews, conceptual plan, and estimated costs. The total cost of the feasibility study is $28,400 and will be paid with Measure U funds. Any questions from the board?
This is just replacing the proposal that we had from Robert Robles last year, like in December.
We never had a proposal.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, we were waiting for the proposal.
Yeah, we never
Yes,
received it.
So, yeah.
All right.
Any further questions from the board? Okay. Public comment on G1, approval for KBZ Architects, Inc. pool feasibility study at CHS. Okay. Seeing no public comment, may I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
This is, I think, I think it's taken a little while to get this off the ground. I think there's some support, there's a significant amount of interest and support in the community to find out what an actual cost would be to fund a pool at the high school, not just the construction costs, but the operations and maintenance. And I think we have an idea based on some of the studies that were done in other districts in Southern California, but this will be specific to Carpinteria. And we'll be able to, really get an idea if it's something that the community is interested in supporting and funding, and if the district is able to, it's something the district could absorb and maintain. I think this will give us some nuts and bolts numbers, some real ideas, rather than just back of the napkin things that I'm used to doing. So I think it's a worthwhile expenditure.
Okay, anybody else? Yeah, again, we had hoped to be able to get this going last year, and we committed to doing this feasibility study. I think this is something that's been brought up for many years, since I've had kids in the district at least, and so, I mean, we have a group of parents that are ready to take on the opportunity to fundraise and do what they need to do to help with the costs if it is found to be feasible. I hope, we don't know what it's going to say, and I don't want people to get hopes up, like it's happening. Not that it isn't, but we just don't know. The thing is, we don't know. This is the first step in a long process, in a long road ahead of us on this. And so we're just taking the step. So, okay. May I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Oh, wait, did we do that already?
it.
So we already did that.
Oh, we did?
All in favor?
All right, aye.
Aye.
We did that.
Yep.
Move to approve twice.
Yeah, okay. We asked.
My apologies.
H, personnel summary. The board is asked to approve the following recommended personnel items: assignments, 2 personnel, retirement, 1 personnel. Any questions from the board? No? Okay, public comment on personnel summary, H1.
All right, so on this personnel summary, we have 2 new hires, the first new hires in some time, a new payroll benefits technician and a human resource coordinator. Both of these are unrepresented positions with the district. Unrepresented, for those who aren't aware, means that they're not covered in the bargaining unit for the union, which some might think we have no interest in these positions, but we certainly have, union leadership has considerable interest in these positions, as these are the very individuals that we are tasked both legally and structurally and functionally to be working with and beside, directly with, to focus on the betterment of the employees, the betterment of our students and the teaching and learning program, the betterment of our hiring opportunities and hiring programs that we're putting out there. The ease with which people are paid, and just a variety of, the bargaining of the contract, a variety of things that we end up speaking with these two positions specifically with at great length. With that in mind, union leadership would really like to encourage the district to invest a bit more time in the training of these two positions. The last payroll technician we had lasted a very short period, and there were a variety of errors which to her credit, were really not a result of her lack of ability, but just simply not having had enough time to learn the job and be trained up properly. She was really thrown into the frying pan. We've already seen with the legal costs that are going on, the extensive problems of bringing in a human resource coordinator who is not capable, who doesn't bring skills in that area, and lacks the training that's specifically required for a TK-12 school district. It's a whole different world, as you all know, working in a nonprofit public sector school district, and so we ask that you give that extra training to these individuals, make sure that they're successful, because that helps our relationship with them. In regard to retirements, we would like to just express our best wishes to Arna, who has served in the district for many, many years. She's now retiring, and she's earned it. And so good luck, Arna, and thank you. We hope you'll consider what we shared.
Any further comment on H1 personnel summary? Okay, seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve the personnel summary.
I'll second.
Discussion? I'd just like to say congratulations, Arna, on your retirement.
Likewise, I'd like to wish Arna all the best. And I know she's still going to be an active participant in the FFA boosters group. So
Yep.
she'll
Love
still
seeing her
be
at
involved.
school activities,
Yeah.
games, and all that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. H2, Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Educators, CL 500, 24-25 school year. The board is asked to approve the 24-25 school year Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Educators, CL 500 form, which is required by the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing Department, CCTC Department. This annual Declaration of Need form allows the district to anticipate employing teachers for vacant positions who are not fully credentialed. Any questions from the board? This is, my understanding is, this is like a pretty regular form. I know this has come across
Every year.
the years I've been here.
Every year.
Okay.
We're not
And-
expecting to hire teachers who are not fully credentialed, but in the case maybe of special education, there might be an intern that we will be using. So
Okay,
we're required to present this in the spring.
okay. Public comment on H2? Please step up to the podium now.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Rigby, for confirming that this is a regular process. And that's really unfortunate that it is a regular process, that we have to be preparing to hire teachers who are unqualified, who don't possess the highest levels of qualification to teach in our district. We are a district, and it is a shame that we are a district that is in one of the most desirable locations in the country that can't create employment conditions and opportunities that resolve the need to file for this declaration. One would think that if we had our house in order in this district, if we created the professional environment, if we created the working environment, if we created a contract and a relationship with the school board and the employees and the administrators in the school board and the employees that was much more fruitful and much more transparent, that we could very easily find the kinds of high-quality teachers, credentialed teachers that we'd be looking for in this district. Teachers that would hit the ground running, absolutely prepared to serve the students and the families of the district. So union leadership wants to encourage district leadership to take the opportunities afforded by the collective bargaining process and by the contractual shared decision-making process, which has been all but thrown out the window. You're required to participate in the collective bargaining process, so you do somewhat. However, in the shared decision-making process, you know, we haven't had a meeting like that in how long you been here, Ms. Rigby? I think we stopped a month or two after you arrived. Okay, these are opportunities where we can improve what's going on in the district so that we don't have to continue to file these kinds of this declaration need for fully qualified educators because we can't attract them ourselves in this district. There should be no shortage of people beating down the door to teach in Carpinteria Unified School District in this town, on this part of the coast in California. They should be beating down the door. Thank you.
Any further public comment on H1, Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Educators? Okay, seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to board announcements.
Just like to congratulate the high school for hosting both the Citrus Coast, it's Citrus Coast League, right? Citrus Coast League championships for both track and field and swimming at the same time this week. Both the prelims were today and the finals will be on Thursday. So if anybody's got interest in watching some really good performances, either on the track or in the pool. There's a future Olympian, I think, going to be at the pool, or it has been at the pool from Nordhoff High School, and he's quite an outstanding swimmer. His father was a alumnus of Carpinteria schools, and Quinn Siders, who I'm talking about, and he will be on the Olympic team someday.
Wow.
He's quite an amazing young man. And we've got some amazing young swimmers as well, and runners and jumpers at the high school. So I would, it's really just, I'm proud that our schools have been able to create such vigorous and prominent programs and are able to host these things. It's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jamie?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that Carpinteria Education Foundation has been accepting our senior scholarship applications in the last few weeks. Fortunately, this year we have an astounding number of students and the most money that we've ever given away, $90,000 plus, has been donated. And having read all the applications, I think we should be all very proud of the students that we're producing at the high school. Not only academically, but they're participating in a lot of clubs, and they're super sports, as Andy's saying, and they've excelled extremely well. So congratulations to the high school.
Thank you. I'm just going to point out a few things. I believe tomorrow is the Aliso run field day. So good luck to all the kiddos out there for that. CMS is having their color run on Friday. So good luck to everybody participating there. We have Carpinteria Middle School open houses this Thursday. And then other open houses are coming up in May. The high school is the 22nd. Middle school is the 23rd of May. But just want to make sure everybody's reading the parent squares. I know the emails that come through, things get lost, but be sure to check out what's going on either at your school that your students are at, but also the school that they may be going into next year in the fall, because this is your opportunity to get a chance to go and check it out. And then, let's see here. yeah, again, echoing all of our athletes, congratulations. They're doing great at the pool and on the track on Thursday. Good luck to them. And we had, there was another event that we just had, I thought. A Russell Cup.
Yes, and we also had the Rotary.
And the Rotary Talent Show. Thank
Saturday
you.
night.
So congratulations to everybody that has been participating in all these awesome activities. It's great. Okay. Okay. Board calendar, nothing there.
I just want to remind you that Monica sent out an email regarding your availability during the summer months of July and August.
I'm
Oh.
sorry. No, it happened yesterday and I had to leave.
Oh, so you haven't sent it out yet? Oh, okay. So it will, okay, it is forthcoming. I'm like,
Oh, I'm
it is
definitely not
forthcoming.
getting that
So if
email.
you'd be kind enough to check that email and respond, so we will have to make some decisions.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will send it tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay. Future agenda items. We have 24-25 budget development, governance workshop, and our LCAP. Any questions from the board there? No? Okay. Future agenda items, public comment. Please feel free to step up to the podium now.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to formally ask that we review the DLI program and have some sort of audit on that program, how it affects both the kids in that program and the kids that are not in that program, the rest of the schools. So I requested that be put on a future agenda item so that we can, get some nuts and bolts and see what's going on and see if we can get some of these test scores up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Didn't we have it, we had a presentation on DLI not too long ago.
Yeah, I believe we did, and that goes through
Have
in the.
have we formally had like any outside firm audit, the whole program, the school and everything like that?
Well, the UCSB has basically been intimately involved with the program at Catalino.
I think what I might suggest is that UCSB has completed a report for this year, and I think that we could have them present it.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, so.
There we go.
Thank you. We'll present the report.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, so for several years, union leadership has been encouraging the school board to include an agenda item explaining the feasibility of, well, I'm going to start with a different one. It can't be missed that the school board has not held a budget study session at any point in the 2022-23 school year. Union leadership asked the board to agendize such a budget study session where the budget and only the budget, just like we used to do, where the budget and only the budget is focused upon in that meeting. We believe that this will draw several interested parties who may not have time to involve themselves on all of the ongoing items on a board agenda, but who would really like to dig in on the topic of the budget and a budget study session. So we do hope you'll do that. To the other topic, for several years, union leadership has been encouraging the school board to include an agenda item exploring the feasibility of bringing CPR and first aid training district-wide. And when I say district-wide, I'm talking about you, I'm talking about district administrators, the union's talking about every employee, faculty, and support staff, and growing it into a program where even the students are learning it, student parents are learning it, and we become a model for the community on this topic of CPR and first aid. We remain somewhat miffed by how many times we brought this before you and have not received any kind of positive feedback on it. However, we want to recognize that a step in the right direction has been made, and the school board has recently announced, or it's not the school board, but the school district has recently announced that to staff that those who wish to volunteer to be trained in CPR and first aid will have that opportunity at some point in the future. It's not exactly what we're looking at. It's a very kind of a shallow half step towards what we're talking about, but it's a step in the right direction. And we really want to encourage you to think about, can we do better than that? Can we contractualize it so that it becomes a permanent expectation of anybody who works in this district that they're going to be trained? Can we provide stipends for certifications for those who are willing not just to be trained, but are willing to be the kind of person who steps in the jam and is able to deliver those kinds of services right away? Can we train our own district personnel to become trainers so that we can save money in the process? And can we mentor to the community how important this topic is and what kind of opportunities we have to improve the safety and well-being of the district, students, district employees, and again, the community at large? You have an opportunity to really put the district on the map on this, and I hope you'll consider it. Thank you.
Any further comments on future agenda items?
Can I make a general comment? Or is it only future?
Yeah, this is,
Okay,
this is future agenda items. Okay, and with that, we are adjourned.